What's up YouTube, Capital G here, got some incredibly powerful duels for you guys to check out. In fact, these are going to be almost identical to the duels that you guys saw yesterday, assuming I don't screw up my scheduling and end up rescheduling the duels at any point. But these are going to be similar in the sense that you're going to see two ridiculous pop-offs turn one, but one of them is actually going to get obliterated. That's my favorite type of duel actually to watch. Well, outside of kind of like the good back and forth or the shock endings, is when one player just goes to the absolute peak of the mountain and it looks like their play just doesn't have a counter, but then they still end up somehow getting wrecked. I feel like that's just one of the subtle beauties of Yu-Gi-Oh! So 6 Samurai down at the bottom, Spirals up at the top. I mean, see, this is the problem when you run a billion extender pieces. It's not that like you have to worry about drawing them all together. It's that they do take up the spots of cards that let you play defense turn 0. Imagine if that Brilliant Fusion would have been, I don't know, a Drolan Lockbird or an Impermanence. Maybe this combo doesn't happen. Also, this would probably be the point where I talk shit, about something like Summon Sorcerers. But with 6 Samurai, I'm not sure they actually need Summon Sorcerers to pull this off. I think that it is more or less just revolving around ISO'd and then Gateway, and we know once you get those two together, pretty much all bets are off. They're going to be able to do some incredibly crazy things. And we did see 6 Samurai for a little while actually top using Rango. That was before a lot of people realized that Rango was just nuts, and then people started using it with other decks. And as long as you have counters on the field, you basically have the ability to just keep on summoning, because you can just keep on using Kizan over and over and over and over again. The Nightmare monsters let you expand upon your field, or they let you consolidate the monsters on field into extra monster zones. He's dropping both Shiens, and he's not done. Those were actually, this actually a really smart play. He converts the Nightmare monsters into the Mech Knight Crusadia Astrum. This is an amazing monster that is hella difficult to get off the board. This is one of those cards that you put it on the field basically solo and you feel pretty damn comfortable with it being on board. I think the last piece is just to try to get a tuner. Getting that tuner out, that might be what he wants to use Shien's Dojo for. So he might finally launch the Shien's Dojo. Yep, get the Shien Spy, I believe that is, and that goes into Naturia Beast. And will this be the duel that his opponent actually has that counter, as he drew a damage juggler, which I mean, it stops an attack, so there's that. In normal summons, he calls monster cards all Spiral Tough. This could be the comeback. Actually, nope, it's not. He ends up getting a spell and he promptly scoops it up. Too many extenders and not actually any cards to break your opponent's combo. If he goes first, then obviously he has the combo himself. But then we have the wind up duel. This is Wind Up 2019, and this is actually kind of crazy that somebody sat around and thought this up. And it is going to use Brilliant Fusion. A lot of these decks do use the card. Now I hear people are calling for Brilliant Fusion to get hit. A lot of people, I saw Sammy's banless prediction, he had it at 1. That will definitely hurt Gem Knights. Why not just ban Seraphonite? Like, I feel like Gem Knights then still get to at least play. They still get to play like Brilliant Fusion, which is like obviously super important. Now this wind up loop takes a fucking lot of steps. It's way more difficult than what the wind up loop was back in Order of Chaos during the Zexal days. Of course, you do have to use Magician and Shark, and it does still revolve around Hunter and really just a whole bunch of like a billion Monster Reborn type cards. You can just constantly get Hunter. You do have to run multiple Hunters, which is kind of jank, but being able to get Hunter from your Banish Zone is actually kind of nice. You have Levier, you have ways of getting it back, and it's going to be a full combo with windups. He's going to take every single card out of his opponent's hand, and I saw that and I was like, shit, you probably shouldn't lose. Even gets the Rescue Cat for the extra plays. Pretty nice. Goes into another copy of Sorry You Just Scold Red, gets that wind up rat so he can bring back the wind up hunter for the final time, and he has wind up looped all 5 cards out of his opponent's hand. Cap G, even with a 60 card deck, this is GG no re. Unless this man top decks that grass looks greener, and also he's cheating because that's banned, there should be no way that he comes back. Or is there? Charge of the Light Brigade ends up starting with the sackiness. Well, eventually he's going to get to the sackiness. Fairy Tale Snow, gonna book that hunter, and then he goes for the Exiton Knight. Good night, Irene. He loses absolutely everything, and then he top decks a shark. See, this is the problem with windups, man. All the monsters are really, really tiny, so you can't even beat down something like an Exciton Knight. He top decks a windup rabbit. He gets shark, and I believe he is going to go for a rank. No, he goes for a rank 3. My bad. I thought he was going to go for a rank 4. He gets. This was sweet. Okay. This is what happened. So he actually ends up getting the feelers from his opponent's banish pile, and then he pops the Exciton Knight. Not bad. Unfortunately, he couldn't summon the Levier in attack mode because it's just 1600. So Levier has been summoned like 8 times in this duel, but Fairy Tail Snow says it doesn't even matter, bro. I'm going to banish the Giant Rex, then I'm going to summon myself back. I'm just going to attack again. I feel bad for Windups because he had the epic pop-off, but Lightsworn is just too sacky. Gets a Felis on field, and I mean, he can't even kill an 1800 monster. I'm not sure how exactly he's going to kill a couple of 2000 monsters. I mean, maybe the Windup Kitty will be able to do something, summons the Windup Link monster, but these Windup monsters, they just don't have any good raw stats, and now that he has Judgment Dragon, it's probably going to be summoned this turn. Oh, never mind. He's just constantly using Fairy Tail Snow. Maybe he's just going to continue with beatdown mode. I thought that there was a slim chance he would summon Judgment Dragon, but not even necessary. That's a pretty good comeback when you get wind up loops for 5 cards and your entire opening hand goes to the graveyard, but it doesn't even matter. You luck sack your opponent out with Fairy Tail Snow and Raiden, and if there's one deck that's going to do it, it probably would be something like Lightsworn. Also, he was running Metaflow's Fusion, so if that happened to get discarded out of his opening hand, that would have been a free card for him to draw during his next turn anyways. Hopefully you guys enjoyed these short little duels. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already. And you know what? Hold on. Let me just pause. Check out the wind-up deck. I'm picturing somebody in my comment section in like 2 weeks from now saying, wind-up deck list cap? Alright, so this is what the deck looks like on paper. A whole lot of monsters, like a lot of monsters. I mean, you do have to do a whole lot of summoning to get the, entire 5-card wind-up loop. It's much more difficult than what it used to be during Zexal, where it was basically just like Zamighty and wind-up Hunter. I really do wish they would bring back Zamighty. In the OCG, I believe that wind-up Hunter is banned and everything else is at 3. It's so crazy that fucking Magician is still semi-limited. Like, man, I think that this was like 2012-ish Yu-Gi-Oh, somewhere around that. Konami, come on, give us our wind-up cards back. Obviously, he's running a plan engine pretty much just for the Predaplants. I wonder if Rescue Ferret is even necessary. Obviously, Rescue Cat, we did see that used in the duel, unless I'm mistaken. And a lot of these spells are just kind of like extenders. Obviously, you need Wind Up Factory to get to, potentially Wind Up Shark, a monster that will get itself out of your hand of its own effect. But then Monster Reborn, and World Legacy Succession, which is basically just another Monster Reborn. It just requires you to have that Link monster on field, Soul Charge, and then other cards like Monster Gate and Reasoning. The levels are kind of all over the place, and wind-ups, you're going to have some level 3s, you're going to have level 4s, level 2 with the wind-up Kitty, and these monsters can adjust their levels with the Shark, but it does kind of make it a little difficult for your opponent to, call the Reasoning. If they call 3, you've got a decent chance at getting a 4. If they call 4, you've got a decent chance of getting a 3 or a 2, and, etc., etc. But I did want to show you guys Topologic Gumblar Dragon. You know what? I actually think it does make sense in this deck. I mean, you're already going for hand discarding anyways. If you're able to climb into Gumblar Dragon, why not just go for that if you have a couple of cards in your deck? In your hand. Didn't work out for him in the duel, but traditionally, you don't hope to get luck sacked. There doesn't appear to be any type of stun in this, so basically if you wind up your opponent's entire opening hand, if you loop it and they have nothing, you probably should win the duel, and if they can come back with that one card, you're gonna lose the duel. It's really just that simple.